Okay, if you feel like giving up on your business, you've been making dua for Allah to increase your rizq, to make you successful, but you feel like you just maybe aren't that guy, this video is for you. I've been there, and I'm going to walk you through the 3 steps that I took to completely change myself. So when I was stuck at 0, I quickly made 4K per month. When I was stuck at 5K per month, I quickly made 15K per month, and now 60K per month, alhamdulillah. And I want to show you the first step. I'm going to go straight in. I just want to no fluff, give you as much value as possible. The first thing is the belief. Let's see if my camera actually focuses on this, right? So belief, the identity that you have, that's the first thing you need to change. You need to understand this. Your belief currently is that you are not capable. And what you need is an identity statement. Now, most of the time that I remember me not taking action was because of one thing and one thing only. I didn't feel like the person who could. I didn't feel like the person who would succeed, the person who does take the action. And so what happens is this. You don't achieve goals, you achieve specific identities. So right now, maybe you have the goal of 5K per month. Maybe you have the goal of 10K, 20K, 50K per month. Whatever your goal is, ya akhi kareem, understand this. You won't achieve it unless you become the person who can achieve it. And so your focus shouldn't be on the goal. It should be on becoming the person who can, right? Obviously, because what comes first? The person who can achieve it. And so you have to understand that you have to align your identity with your goal. But right now, you aren't the person who can achieve the goal. That's not your fault. In the other 2 steps I'm going to show you how you can quickly become that person. But the first thing you have to do is identify who you need to become. And it's very simple. Use what I call an identity statement. I am the kind of Muslim who does X. You might say something along the lines of, I am the kind of Muslim who is consistent. I am the kind of Muslim who is disciplined. I am the kind of Muslim man who makes 10K per month, right? But you're not going to say what you get. You're going to say what you do specifically, who you are. I'm the kind of Muslim man who has taqwa. I'm the kind of Muslim man who works hard. I'm the kind of Muslim man who feels peace, right? You want to use these statements to describe who you are. I'm going to tell you now because maybe you're uncertain of who you need to become to achieve your goals. There's 3 things you need to do. Number 1, you have to believe it is possible. And so I want you to tell to yourself that you are the kind of person who makes the money that you want to make. So you might say, I am the kind of Muslim man who makes 10K per month. Then you add a little part at the end, easily. Okay. The second thing is you have to be disciplined. Okay. And so you might say something along the lines of, I am the kind of Muslim man who is disciplined, who does the work when he doesn't feel like doing it. And the last thing you need is full blow flipping like trust in Allah, right? Because I cannot stress it enough. Imam Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah speaks about this in his book that I've got behind there about tribulations and hardships. If you don't have tawakkul, everything feels more difficult. You're going to say, I am the kind of Muslim man who has tawakkul. That's the first action step you're going to do. The second thing, and again, let's flipping hope my camera focuses on it. Bam, right? It's your skill. Because yes, you can kind of have the identity of somebody who makes like a lot of money. But if you don't have the skills to make a lot of money, you'll never make a lot of money. It's that simple. And so you have to have what I call a daily repetition checklist. A daily repetition checklist is you focus on just one, not 20, not 30, one money-making activity for your business. That might be outreach, that might be content, that might be running ads, like whatever it is, focus on one activity. And it specifically has to be an activity that generates you money, generates you booked sales calls, it generates you money in some capacity, right? And there might be you having to spend money, like I said, on ads. It might be you having to put in the hours for content, put in the hours for outreach. Just one thing. I call it the daily repetition of my money-making activities. Bit of a mouthful. You pick one and you do more reps in that thing. Because you have to be honest with yourself, akhi. Are you not achieving your goals because you're just not doing the work? Is it possible that the reason you don't have anything you want to have because you're not doing the things that would get you that thing in the first place? It most likely is. When I wasn't making any money, I remember for a fact, the reason I found it so difficult to do the work was because, like I said earlier, my identity wasn't aligned with the goal, but also I just wasn't doing the work itself. Something that's hard to admit, but you have to be honest with yourself. Am I doing what is required of me to achieve my goal? If you're not, focus on one thing and one thing only, the money-making activity, and do that daily. Do it daily for 20 minutes a day. Start off with 20 minutes. Then move it up to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, right? 100 minutes, okay? Because you want to follow the rules of progressive overload, the same way you do it in the gym. You want to follow the rules of progressive overload. You don't start instantly with 3, 4, 5 hours of deep work. Start with 20 minutes. Start with half an hour. Start with an hour, okay? Start small and build up, and make sure that that time is spent on the actual money-making activity so you can develop your skill so that you can achieve your goal. The third thing, again, I'm going to have to come into my camera and make sure that it focuses on this. Bam. It's your trait, right? Trait, or what I call the reaction rule. So if you find yourself procrastinating, if you find yourself not doing the work that you want to be doing, you have this statement you need to make to yourself. It's what I call the reaction rule. When I feel something, I do something. Okay? So when I feel anxious, you might say, I make dua. When I feel uncertain, I ask Allah for more help. When I feel scared, I do it anyway. You have to create like a rule for yourself, the reaction rule. How do you react to certain emotions? Because you have to understand your feelings don't really matter, right? Like to achieve a goal, you don't have to feel good. So some days you might not feel successful, but because you've done the daily repetitions, you've done the 100 minutes, you've done the 2 hours, you've done the 4 hours of deep work that you need to do, it doesn't matter how you feel at the end of the day, you've done it. And so Allah and the angels are ticking a box for you to get what you want to get. That's how the world works, right? It's means, right? Something happens and then you have the results of that thing that happens. And so for you, creating a reaction rule just means that you don't allow your emotions to get the best of you. How do you develop sabr? When I feel hungry, I remind myself of the intention of fasting. That's one way you develop sabr, right? When I feel angry, I say, Astaghfirullah al-Azim, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, right? So every time, right, Islam tells us, like, it gives us reaction rules, by the way, but you want to create reaction rules for yourself when it comes to your business. If I feel doubtful, I'm going to send 3 DMs, right? That's something I used to do. If I felt doubtful for my business, I would literally, like, pull up on my laptop, like, a screen of the people I DM'd, and I would send follow-ups, where I would, like, DM new people. Because I was like, if I feel doubtful, I'm going to do the activity that would help me achieve my goal. And when you have the reaction rule, what you end up doing is you change your traits. You become more disciplined. You become like more committed. You become the person who can. And so in these 3 steps, changing your beliefs, developing your skills, and changing your traits, you have to understand the reason you are where you are today is because you have the beliefs of a broke person. You have the beliefs that you had in the first place that got started you, right? You started with those beliefs. You're not going to grow without changing them, right? You got the same skills before. So you got broke traits and you got broke skills. And so with broke skills, broke traits, and broke beliefs, you're going to stay broke. So the key is to change your beliefs, your skills, and your traits. And you do that with the identity statement, with changing your beliefs. You do that with the daily repetitions of the work that matters with your skills. And with your traits, you use the reactionary rule, right? The reaction rule. And so do not just watch this video and continue scrolling going, oh, wow, that was really interesting. I'm actually quite motivated now. I know I can achieve my goal. Apply what I just showed you, because the reason you aren't achieving your goals is because you're not changing your beliefs, you're not changing your skills, and you're not changing your traits. Allah gave you the desire to succeed because He knows you are capable of success. And so there is nothing else that constitutes your success other than the desire for it. And so what do? You do what is necessary for you to achieve your goals, which is changing your beliefs, changing your skills, changing your traits. And if you're somebody who's committed to making a change in their financial situation, I've got a free school community below. Feel free to join. I've got a free course in there to help you start a business, start a halal coaching or a halal agency, and to obviously get support from me, get feedback. And you got a community of like-minded brothers and sisters. Actually, it's just brothers. I don't know why I added the sisters in there. You got a community of like-minded brothers who are going to support you, who are there to achieve your goals. Entrepreneurship can be quite lonely. With these guys, it's definitely not. Alhamdulillah. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.